Am I the asshole for not going on a family trip because they don't let us to bring my fiance's dog along?
My 24F parents, 60M, 48F, planned a mini, 3 days, family trip as they do every year. They invited both my fiancé, 28M, and my younger brothers GF.
I've been dating with my fiancé for over 2 years, but we got engaged just about 3 months ago.
My brother, 20M, has been dating his girlfriend since 9th grade, so she's like family.
For my fiancé, that was not the case. He didn't join any of our previous family trips when we were just dating. This was going to be his first time joining us. I was so excited. Let me start by saying this. My fiancé's dog is not just a pet. She's a seeing eye dog. He's fully visually impaired and he needs her. She's not just our pet, but also basically his mobility aid.
She's also the sweetest, most calm dog you will ever see.
Long story short, when my mom found out we were planning to bring her with us, she got surprised and asked me if we really thought bringing that dog along was a good idea. I said, of course, what else did she think was going to happen?
Apparently, that was a ridiculous idea. They love her but certainly don't want her on the family trip. I told her I'm sorry, but that's not an option.
If she wants us to be there, that dog will also be there.
Every time we went on a trip with my fiancé, she was always there and never caused an issue.
My mom told me she respects that. We can spend our couple trips however we want, but this is a family trip, and we must respect their wishes. I didn't know what to say to that.
The only thing I could say is I'm sorry, but we can't attend if they don't let us bring my fiancé's seeing eye dog.
Then she got furious. She started calling me names, told me I'm being ungrateful, disrespectful, etc. I didn't want to argue with her anymore, so I just hung up the phone. Then my dad called me to fix things up. He said it's just a 3-day trip, and I could very well guide my fiancé if I wanted to. I'm the one making things harder, and even if he can't join, I should still come.
This made me lose it completely. I told him if my brother's girlfriend is going to be there, my fiancé should absolutely be there, and I'm not making anything harder.
They are the ones making this harder, and honestly,
this is textbook discrimination. My dad completely dismissed me, telling me to shut up, and that if they were bigots, they wouldn't have let me get engaged to him.
They always let him bring her to family dinners. This is the one time they asked for a favor. I should have been more understanding. He said I should be ashamed for making my mom cry when all she wanted was a small trip with both her kids. Now I feel as if I'm a horrible daughter. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole.
If this wasn't a service dog, I'd feel differently, but it's completely unreasonable to expect a service animal to be left behind if the person who needs its help is going on a trip.
First, it's a service dog. A service is there to replace something the owner hasn't. Here, your fiancé's eyes.
Tell them that if brother's fiancé needed a wheelchair, they wouldn't ask her to come without.
It would be nonsense.
Same thing here. The difference here is that they consider normal to put your fiancé in a position of dependency, when he is completely autonomous with his dog. If they can't accept a dog service, sorry to say it like that, but they are stupid persons. A dog service is not a pleasure dog.
It's a necessity.
And you can't get rid of it to please stupid people. You can try to educate them, but I hope you pay for your own wedding because they will try to force you on their own desires. They don't respect both of you at all.
Not the asshole. Your parents suck. Like, aside from this whole dog thing.
They wouldn't have let me get engaged to him.
Your parents don't respect you or your autonomy as an adult who is capable of making decisions.
This line really said it all to me.
Keep your boundaries firm and don't let them guilt you into folding. Not the asshole. Tell your parents how profoundly ashamed you are of their disgusting attitude. Would they demand someone in a wheelchair leave it behind and be carried around? Your fiancé's dog is a piece of necessary medical equipment.
They are demanding that he blind and humiliate himself for no reason other than their own controlling bigotry.
Please do not subject your fiancé to spending time with monstrous people like this. Even if they apologize, they have shown that he will never be fully safe around them. If you still intend to marry him,
they can't be a big part of your life going forward. Let you get engaged to him?
Girl, not the asshole or even close to it in this galaxy. Their ableism is showing and they are all defensive about it. Also, name-calling is so unnecessary and is bad behavior.
If this had been a regular dog, I would have told you in a second that you were the asshole, but this is a medically necessary seeing eye dog.
They're not asking for a favor, they're asking something awful. Like asking someone in a wheelchair just not to come with their wheelchair for the weekend. Not the asshole, your parents are though, and I would put them in timeout.
Your partner needs his seeing eye dog, and if they can't seem to understand that simple fact, then they can go without you.
Stick by your partner, your parents can kick rocks. Am I the asshole for being rude to my wife because she fed her parents and left me with nothing? I was making dinner and got a little behind. I had a meeting for a charity I help out with and had to leave before I could eat dinner. I rushed out the door and said I'd be home in an hour. I get home and am rummaging through the fridge and my wife asks me what I was looking for. I said the leftovers. She said there wasn't any and that she offered the food to her parents who stopped by.
I said thanks a lot rudely and she asked what the problem was.
I told her I was upset that I didn't get dinner because she gave it away and now I have to find something to eat at 9 o'clock at night. She told me I was being an asshole and that it wasn't a big deal. I just shrugged and started making my meal. Am I the asshole?
Let me double check what I read there. You made the dinner, didn't have a chance to eat any of it, and she gave away your food. If she knew you didn't have a chance to eat any of the food you made, and it seems likely, then she is the
Edit.
I thought this was obvious, but not the asshole.
Not the asshole. She was thoughtless and then dismissed your feelings.
Not the asshole if your wife was aware that you weren't able to eat before leaving. It was extremely inconsiderate to give the food away.
I can see why your wife says it's not a big deal. She has a full belly and didn't even have to cook. She is a major asshole.
How hard would it have been for her to keep some food for you out of the meal you just cooked?
Honestly, unacceptable. I would never cook another meal for her, and her parents. You are not the asshole.
So you cooked dinner, didn't get a chance to eat, and she gave it away without even a heads up to let you know so you'd have the opportunity to at least pick up something on the way home?
Not the asshole. Not the asshole. You were expecting to have food available that you cooked as well when you got home. It wouldn't have taken that long for her to have set aside a serving for you before offering her parents the rest. Am I the asshole for getting my daughter a designer bag when not everyone in the group could afford it? Hey, I'm not new to Reddit, but this is a throwaway account.
So, I'm part of a playdate group that my sister invited me to.
We're all in the 30s-40s range and our daughters are in the 6-8 age range, but we're all at different life stages.
Out of the group, my husband works a lot and makes the most money.
While none of them are struggling, at least no one has outright said, we do have different budgets.
There hasn't been any drama in the past 2 years until recently when one of the girls, Autumn, not her real name, got a purse and then everyone got a purse except for my daughter.
She's 2 years younger than the other girls, so I didn't know how to feel about getting her a brand new purse, but I also didn't want her to be left out.
Now, I only carry designer bags because I like the way they look, and because my daughter wants to be my mini-me, I bought us matching crossbody bags.
It was adorable. I didn't see a problem with it since kids can't tell the difference, and when we were at our weekly playdate, no one said anything, so I figured no one cared. Well, I was more than wrong when I checked the group chat. All the other moms, including my sister, were texting me saying they felt like we were trying to show off that we had money, which felt unfair because they were the ones who always brought up bills and shopping for clothes, while I usually stayed out of the conversation. Then Autumn's mom texted that she was crying because she wanted the same bag for her approaching birthday now and they couldn't afford it. And while I feel bad, I also think this is just a part of life. Even my daughter doesn't get everything she asks for because she sees it.
So am I the jerk in this situation?
You're not the asshole, but a designer bag for a 6-8-year-old is just throwing money away. I say this as a parent, but also as someone who taught a lot of 6-8-year-olds over the years she is going to lose it, or spill juice on it, or leave it in the sun full of crayons, or paint it with fingernail polish, or just cut it up with scissors because something in her brain said, destroy, within a matter of months. It is what little kids do.
The other moms were wrong to hassle you, but I can't really blame them for being envious. They should have kept their feelings to themselves. It's their problem, not yours, but man, I wish I could afford to toss wads of cash to the wind like that, too. Have empathy, and let it drop if they do.
Especially you.
Buying designer bags for 6-8-year-olds?
WTAF. You are the asshole.
She has a friend group.
Things among peers occur at a certain price point. It makes things easier for all involved.
Instead, you bought a 6-yo designer bag for your ego, not because she asked for it.
With your husband's money, by the way.
This is not unlike a parent giving a kid a cell phone or social media access when everyone else in the peer group doesn't have it, and all parents agreed it was kind of nice not having the phone SM access at that age.
You introduced status seeking to elementary school girls because Mini-Me is adorable. I don't think you thought it through sufficiently.
It is strange that everyone is calling you out rather than whispering behind your back, so I guess you're not wasps. You're the asshole. This was nothing more than a financial flex to show the other mothers you have so much money that you can afford to toss it away on a kitty bag.
And good for you. I want to have your wealth.
But you took your wealth and inserted it into a part of your life where wealth wasn't a factor until now.
I'd start looking for a new playgroup because you are already not welcome in this one.
Not the asshole, but ensure you teach your daughter not to brag about the things she is fortunate enough to have. Not to say that she definitely did that, but it is possible.
Personally, I think it's weird to buy a 6-year-old a designer bag.
There's no way it doesn't get damaged or lost within the year, but if you want to light money on fire, that's obviously your choice.
I do think your sister and the other moms were very out of line though. Am I the asshole for keeping my miscarriage a secret?
I, 20F, and my husband, 24M, have been married just about 2 years. My brother-in-law and his wife, 26, had their first baby 7 months ago.
He's the cutest little baby and I love being his auntie.
But now that means we are getting asked when we're having a baby.
I would always brush it off saying, oh we'll see, or, I don't know, maybe later, but I wasn't sure if I was ready after what happened. For context, I had never been on birth control before, so I was still pretty new to it. I used the Nuevo ring so I would have it in for 3 weeks then have my period. Doc said it's normal not to bleed. When I put it in we had 2 days before we got married.
The doc said it isn't 100% effective the first 24-72 hours, but there shouldn't be any issues. Well, we get married, go on our honeymoon, and come back ready for married life.
A week after we come home I took the birth control out but I didn't bleed.
Which I was told is normal. I felt super nauseous, and just thought that it was my period, so I kept it out. A few days into having one in I still felt sick.
So being concerned, I took a pregnancy test. Sure enough I could see a very faint line.
Panicking I took it out, and made an appointment with my doc. That night I started bleeding pretty bad.
I told my husband, and felt awful cause I thought I just killed our baby.
He assured that it's going to be okay and that we can go to the to see what's going on.
I was just shy of 6 weeks. I asked my husband if we could keep it between us for the time being. And he said we could talk about it when I was ready. Well, I never was.
Back to present day, some months go by and my brother and his wife, 24, have their first. This led to my family asking me when I was going to get pregnant.
I was getting fed up with it, so I ignored them.
Finally 2 days ago, we were at my in-laws for dinner and I again was asked when were we going to have kids. I blurted out and said, well, after having a miscarriage it's hard to want to get pregnant. My Mill's face dropped and got upset that I hadn't said anything sooner and that she should have known when I was pregnant.
I just walked out to the car, my husband following after me. We went home and my husband said maybe we should have told her cause she's had a miscarriage too. And I said well, I didn't want to tell them because of how it happened. I just really need to know, am I the asshole? Should I have talked to my mother-in-law sooner? Update, edit.
Wow, thank you for all the kind words.
And thank you to those who shared their losses, much love, Red Heart.
So I've seen a few people ask questions about when I got married, and if I've gone to therapy.
So my husband and I met about a week after I turned 18, he was 21. We got married a month before I turned 19, and he was 22. Yes, it was young, but he was the best thing that happened to me. My parents were emotionally abusive, so I got married faster than originally thought. But he's been the best.
As of therapy, I had been seeing a therapist for the abuse for 8 months, then stopped. The miscarriage was almost 2 years ago, so about 6 months after I came to terms with it I went to therapy again for grief and loss specifically.
Edit.
I'm seeing a lot of people taking that I blurted means I yelled.
I didn't yell. I said that assertively to make it clear I didn't want to talk about it anymore.
If your husband thought his mom having a miscarriage was relevant, why didn't he tell you sooner?
I feel like that could have been helpful information to you sooner? Not the asshole at all. Your mother-in-law just figured out exactly why you don't pester people about having children. Also, I thought this would be helpful to note. It's estimated that 15–20% of pregnancies end in miscarriage. It is not your fault at all.
You did nothing wrong to provoke this, sometimes tea just happens.
Sending you love. Not the asshole one bit. Also, please know that you absolutely did nothing to cause the miscarriage. You are only 20 years old, why is everyone talking about getting pregnant all the time anyway? It is no one's business if, when you plan to, and it definitely isn't your MIL's business that you had a miscarriage even if she had one herself. But above all else, don't feel ashamed about it. It wasn't your fault. Not the asshole. Your medical history and personal life is nobody's business. They are not entitled to any of this information.
The first thing that jumped out to me was the fact that you got married at 18 to 22-year-old.
You must have been together for at least a year before you got married, which made you 17 and 21.
The fact as soon as you got married they started pestering for kids is a red flag. I don't know your husband, but going for a minor is a red flag to me.
Men want someone young and naive that they can manipulate. Seems like that's what his family wants to do also. Not the asshole. I hope this serves as a lesson to those who kept asking you that question. They need to stop pressing someone when they get a vague answer.
It actually is none of their business anyway. That's a private topic, only for you and your husband. If you eventually decide, to let others know and when, is completely up to you.